SJ. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. SJ, Stongo, Gary 5 Jaho Jefgedos, Mvskoke Radio, Mabo Hedgewedgekis. Whoa, excuse me. Welcome to our program again this week. It's starting to look a lot more like winter out there. It's kind of chilly today. And we've got a new start across the nation, new president being sworn into office. And let's see where we go from there. A lot of positive indications for Native American tribal governments and people there. So let's see how those fall into place and what they do for us. Now, today we will be talking about several things. Excuse me, I can't get rid of this cough here this morning. We have our Mvskoke Creek Nation reintegration program joining us today. Mark Harjo and Jay Fields are in the studio to talk with us. Later on, we have experiences I had in getting a COVID-19 vaccination. Just like any other shot, you walk in and they poke you in the arm. And then we've got a little musical thing, Creek Night at Pickles Pub in Tulsa. Piece that was produced a couple of years ago, but we thought it might be a nice way to start the year. But first of all, let's get down to business here. Gentlemen, welcome. We appreciate you coming in. Thank you for making time to join us today.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
hello.
Yeah, bashful Indians here. We have watched the work of the Reintegration Center for a bit now, and it's making quite a difference, I'd say, for the lives of a lot of people who've been involved with it. Now, first of all, let's have you gentlemen introduce yourselves and your responsibilities as far as that program.
Well, my name is Mark Harjo. I'm the outreach specialist, and my job entitles that I need to, outreach to the citizens about program information, who they need to get in contact regarding specific services within our program, and I'm also pretty much in charge of kind of like marketing a little bit, social media, stuff like that. And but I also help the case team as well with case management on some of the clients that call or give us phone calls. Sometimes we get people that call that have received services before, and I pretty much just give them all the information they need, direct them who they need to talk to, and what we can do for them.
And get your program on radio shows.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, Jay Fields, gosh.
Yes, sir. My name is Jay Fields. I am the youth worker there at Reintegration, and I get to be in contact with those juveniles who've been involved with police, OJA. Well, before in the past it was mainly OJA, but since the McGirt case, it's kind of transferred over to Tribal Juvenile Justice Department within Creek Nation. So get to work with them with their court requirements, trying to get them get their cases closed so they can move on, move past, and see where barriers exist or where that kind of brought those problems on, whether it be family, environment, schooling, just kind of provide some mentorship to them as well.
Yeah, all of those challenges rolled into one, too.
Yeah. And like I said, I've actually got the opportunity to also work alongside the TJJ department as well. They kind of invited me to provide some assistance to them since it's a brand new thing. And with the McGirt ruling, it's kind of opened up the doors wide open with the jurisdiction, so to speak. So they have a lot of numbers increase. I think before this ruling, that department had maybe one or two cases within the past couple years, and now I believe it's blown up substantially. So.
Yeah, I can imagine, and sadly, many of the news reports we see and read and hear also say that the perpetrator is a member of the Mvskoke Creek Nation.
Yes.
Darn it, come on, guys, straighten up. But for the benefit of those folks who are not really familiar with your program, reintegration, let's get a quick capsule of what it is and what it's all about.
Okay, yeah. The reintegration program is for the tribal citizens that are being released from incarceration. We just help them with their transition back into society. Pretty much just providing services such as food, clothing, license reinstatement, and legal aid services. And we also have a smart reentry program, and that is for female citizens that are age 18 and over that have been released from county jail within the Mvskoke Creek Nation jurisdiction. And we also have a homeless veterans program, and they're not only able to assist the Mvskoke Creek citizens, they're able to, I think it kind of just depends on which tribe they are, but I think it's more or less the 5 civilized tribes. But they do have to have an honorable discharge, and they'll help them with tuition for truck driving school, or just whatever they want to go to school for. They'll help them with tools for a job or any other kind of trade that they're trying to learn. And Jay can elaborate on the youth advocacy program, and that's really what the reintegration program is.
Well, let me ask you the reason why this program exists. We have a Native person, man or woman, goes commits a crime, gets sent to jail for it. They do their time, and then when they get out, do they essentially have nothing to work with? I mean, just okay, you got a shirt on your back, there's the door. What's that situation?
Well, now it kind of just depends because of the safety measures that we've had to put in place because of COVID. Sometimes whenever these guys get released, they're supposed to have a negative COVID test once they get released from DOC. If they plan on coming to our office that day, they just got to schedule an appointment and bring the results of that negative test. And the test does have to be within 48 hours. If it's anything after that, then we won't. It's not good anymore, just because that's in our policy for it to be within 48 hours. But, whenever in emergency cases like that, we try to do the best we can for them to, set them down with the caseworker. And we also have a on-site counselor there. His name's Ryan Randleman. He'll, if they're feeling uneasy about being there, just need somebody to talk to, that's what he's there for, to, to try to calm them down, ease them into the transition of possibly living there. Because sometimes these guys, they don't want to get out of prison, and then, all the policies and stuff we have in place, we explain it, their caseworker will explain it to them, and they're like, man, I feel like I'm back in prison. And it's like, well, it's not that. You're still gonna have freedom. You can go here and do this. But now it's different because of the pandemic. That's kind of had an effect on our clients that we've had there. They, like I said, they started feeling like they're in prison because they don't have the freedom like they used to. But we're just taking those safety measures to keep everyone safe. But sometimes some of them see it that way, some of them don't, because they want to be with their family like they used to. But like I said, it's just the way it is these days.
Yeah, I guess everything really radically changed when they did the crime, did their time, and now they're out. It's not the same world.
It's not, and
it feels like we're all in prison to some.
And it's just it's just case by case. Everybody's different. Some people want to change, some people don't. But you just got to talk to them whenever they first get there. You can tell the ones that want to change and the ones that don't. But I mean, you still got to try.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, Jay, what kind of numbers and feedback do you get from your clients? They talk about what they want to do, or what they want to overcome, or what they want to learn, or just to get along. With
the youth side, it's always a challenge because, I mean, just like us whenever we got on the radio, right here, ask this question, we're just going to say here. So, and it's the same kind of feedback whenever, you meet these kids in these homes. A lot of them are products of their environments, just like on the adult side. What led them to prison, I see a lot of similarities with those individuals who, on the adult side there, that I see with the youth side that I work with. I mean, it's just that same pattern of behaviors that exists with them, with both of them. And so with the adult side, I would hope that these individuals come here hoping to address some of the issues that led them down that path, and then also trying to set up some things that may help them to move beyond that. It's like the driver's license. They don't have a driver's license. How they expect to ever go to work? So the small things that we may take for granted that we think are just are automatic, so to speak, that we should all have that. I mean, these individuals don't really have that concept down. This is what they need to do in order to be a productive citizen, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine that's going to be a heck of a challenge, particularly in rural areas. If someone lives in a small town, there's no bus service, no cabs, no nothing. You accept your buddy and give them some gas money.
Yeah, I've actually enjoyed working with a lot of the youth in the rural areas, like in the more southern regional areas. I've got to know a lot of them in these small community areas outside Holdenville, Okemah, Wetumpka, Welepka. For these youth in these areas with nothing, no parents, no transportation, it's hard to expect them to, complete whatever is required of them for their court cases whenever there's nobody there to, give them that structure, so to speak. And then we still, I guess, expect them to do that, right?
Yeah.
But if they're not able to, and it's not at their own fault, I mean, who do we look at then? So it's something that I've actually enjoyed getting to know a lot of these individuals, because I can look at what maybe we can bring to the table to assist them moving forward.
Right. Do you guys have any numbers, perhaps, of clients served or been through your process?
That's something that we kind of have to look up before we could honestly tell you, because like I said, we get a lot of people, and then some go, and sometimes the only time we ever really run the numbers is when we have to do reporting, so that number's just not just like stuck in our head, because it's it's just a revolving number.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and last year, around this time, like we had a lot of people wanting to get in, and COVID happened, and that. It's hard just because, they call and, we tell them everything that they're going to have to do once they get here, or, they may already be out and they're wanting to come in that day, and it's like, well, you got to get, a negative COVID test before you can come here. And they're like, well, I don't have a right to go do that. I can't do that, and I don't want to do that. And I'm like,
strike three.
It's just the way it is, man. I mean.
Yeah, I think
we'll be here whenever you want to come,
yeah.
But like I said, that's had an impact on our numbers, just because because of the policies and procedures that we've had to put in place to keep everyone safe.
I think one of the things that's really affected a lot is the restriction of movement. We kind of had to make more of a closed canvas, whereas before it was open. You kind of come and go to, if you have a job or if you want to go to the store to pick up whatever you might need for that day. But now we have a set schedule, so you can't just walk out the door, just more checks and balances made, because we're trying to get control of, due to the pandemic. You never know who has it, who doesn't, and some people are asymptomatic, and it only takes one of those people to come in, then everybody's, is at risk.
Yeah, we hear these incredible numbers for prison populations becoming falling victim to this thing. Now, as the restrictions were put in place, what kind of things now are included in that?
The restrictions?
Yeah, the rules, regulation, whatever they've got.
It's really just controlling their movement. Like Jay was saying, they're not able to really just walk to the store, hop in the car, and go see a family member and come back. And really they're pretty much instructed, like if they want to go somewhere or they have to have a doctor's appointment, or just some serious business to take care of, they just got to get with their caseworker and let their caseworker approve it. But if it's something if it's not a necessity or essential, then they don't like to hear it. But we got to tell them then you can't go.
Yeah. One thing I think might be useful here is the program a residential kind of thing? Do they have a dorm? You have a dorm where they?
Yeah, we have a 36-bed living facility. For 18 men, 18 women, just depending on however many clients, that the men capacity could be more than the women. But, it just kind of just depends. But, it's there for these guys whenever they want to stay there. But, going into the policies and procedures, other things, The only things that we really allow them to freely go to, like I said, it's just their doctor's appointments, to the food. We'll take them to the grocery store to get food, take care of other things, unless they have their own car. But if they have their own car, then they do have to kind of keep in contact with the caseworker just to make sure they're not out and about, just not doing what they said they were going to do. Mm-hmm. And whenever they get back, we do temperature checks, another screening whenever they get back, and do daily temperature checks just to, make sure they're not experiencing any symptoms. And, because, if we do get somebody, then we'll have to quarantine that person, and, we'll have to take extreme measures just to make sure everybody's safe. Disinfect the whole, the rooms get disinfected every week by our cleaning person, which is Annette Malay. She goes in every week on all the rooms, even throughout the office, sprays down everything, wipes down everything. She's germaphobe, so she makes sure everything is clean.
She's done a phenomenal
She's
job,
done
so.
awesome during this.
Now, does that mean then that the clients then are now aware and kind of pitch in, so to speak, to help out, observe the rules, and say, well, we can do this, but we can't, but this might present a danger?
They're more understanding now than when it first went into effect. Because when it first happened, the nation closed down pretty much, and so we were having to house these guys somewhere else, but we still kept in contact with them, and made sure they were staying out of trouble, doing what they were supposed to do. Nobody was sick or anything, and because they didn't have anywhere to go to. Mm-hmm. And once we opened our doors back to everyone, some of them came back, some of them didn't want to, but but the ones that did were more understanding of the situation.
Have you had any of your clients come down with the COVID?
Thankfully, not yet. Mm-hmm. So we keep our fingers crossed, and we hopefully keep that number at a 0.
Yeah, we've certainly had scares on a couple, but they weren't positive for it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the individuals who are the client staying there, I mean, it would probably put them in a dire situation if you were to catch it too, because we hear it all the time of our Native people. It's really hitting the communities hard. Families are torn apart by the tragedy. So, I mean, it seems like we're more, I guess, susceptible to being in that situation than any other population. It feels like sometimes, because it's all you hear about. On Facebook, you'll see, mom and dad's gone. Their grandma and grandpa. So, we feel for these families, and we just try to do what we can on our part to limit that from happening from being at the program.
Now, since this is a tribal program, what part does culture play? Language, religious observance, stomp grounds, anything else? Is that an element that you're...
It's something that we haven't been able to do in a long time because of the pandemic. Before we used to have the weekly language classes. We were partnered with the language program, and they would come down and do the classes with the clients. And what were those meetings called?
White Bison.
White Bison. They were group sobriety meetings every Wednesday. Like I said, we've kind of had to stop doing that because we're not supposed to have large gatherings of clients or other staff members and stuff like that. So like I said, right now they're just trying to find something to keep themselves busy.
The program's got to be evolving as it goes along.
Right,
things
right.
Like that. Have you got any new developments on your horizon, or are you taking advantage of a new grant or something like that to work?
We just received a grant not too long ago from the Department of Justice, and it's actually a grant that was going to allow us to build a new wellness facility down there, for our clients that, they like to work out, and there's also going to be new offices in there for our on-site counselor. So whenever, once that, hits the ground and starts going, that'll be a big help for our clients to keep them busy, such as we plan on, hopefully things are different by then, because we'll plan on having those meetings again, like sobriety meetings, group meetings, and just having some activities for the clients to, keep them healthy, keep them active, exercising, things like that. I couldn't tell you whenever, that'll be finished, but it is on the way. Like I said, there's, some meetings got to take place before it gets started. And we also received a grant that was a part of that would allow us to provide additional services that we have in the past, such as rehab, drug court treatment, and mental health services. Just because our mental health department with Creek Nation, they're just backed up. They're busy all the time. They they have a lot of people. Mental health is a big deal. Like I said, we received these funds and chose to utilize it for that type of service, just because we want to be able to find someone else that can meet with these individuals as well. Just instead of like a month or two out, maybe next week or in a couple days.
Did I hear or read about a welding program?
Yeah, we actually we held a few welding courses over the past 2 years. We do still have the welding facility down there, but we were supposed to have another one at the beginning of this year, but like I said, things just haven't been going the way that we thought they were. So we're actually going to implement a new program with we're partnered with OSU IT, and it's actually going to be a construction technologies class. Just because the welding field it wasn't doing as good as we thought it would, because COVID it's had a big hit on it. Everybody we contacted for our clients that graduated the program, they're like, we're always hiring, but we're not hiring right now. Tell them to fill out an application, and we may give them a call. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, like I said, this construction technologies program, it's going to be like entry-level construction. They're going to be learning about framing, reading blueprints, doing drywall taping and the mud for drywall. They'll be framing walls, doors, and windows, and they'll also get let me find it real quick.
Well, while you're looking for that, it occurs to me that a program like that, some of the vocational stuff you guys are offering, isn't just push a wheelbarrow kind of thing anymore. I mean, you've got to know how to read a blueprint or take measurements and things like that.
Yeah, it's something that's going to be useful to them, and possibly land them a job out there. But also, while they're taking this course, OSU IT provides a career integration preparation, which is resume building, interview skills. And they'll be practicing all that thing. So whenever they have a job interview with a construction company or someone, they'll have an idea of how to answer those interview questions, and let them know, like, this is what I learned, this is what I can do, and I need a job.
Yeah, I've been without one myself, and boy, is it a downer. Not much. Now, Jay, you've been working with the clients one-on-one. Is that kind of what you're doing there?
Yeah, well, you talk about the youth or the adult side?
Excuse me, I'm getting lost here. The youth.
Yeah, well, before the pandemic, it was more easily accessible to them. Like if I could want to go to the school and visit with them, I had a lot of communications with the schools. So a lot of the schools that I went to knew who I was, and they was always welcoming. And so that was a good aspect of being able to be more mobile, so to speak. But now we had to limit ourselves for safety reasons. That kind of takes a bit of that out. So it's more electronic communication, which it does take away some of the mentoring ability, because I think you're more effective one-on-one, face-to-face.
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot of times I hear from people who've met with these people, with these youth, that they shut down, they don't open up. But once they meet me, my past wasn't clean either. So, and maybe the way that I look is more, I guess they're more welcoming to it. They look at me, they might see themselves a little bit. I'm not a typical, what you would call like a caseworker, so to speak, long hair, braid, and all that. So maybe they see something that they feel comfortable with.
Right.
And
not
so
necessarily a suit and tie.
There you go. And so I enjoy that, and that's what I miss about it, is getting in contact with them, because I can speak to the school, see what barriers are there, see if it's lack of communication with the teachers, because these kids
we can expect them to be able to talk about their problems, what's going on at home, to everybody. So
Right.
they gotta have someone to advocate for them.
Okay. Well, in the last few minutes we've got here, are there any projects or things coming up on your schedule that you want to share with our listener?
Other than the construction class, that's actually supposed to start next month. We're still working some things out, getting some details hashed out. We'll be putting that on social media. We'd actually like to come back within possibly before. I don't have a start date for it yet, like a exact day for when it'll start. But I'd like to come back and broadcast that out to everyone.
Sure,
And just let everybody know, like, this is the criteria that you have to meet. This is what it's going to cost. This is who you contact to get enrolled. And pretty much just let everybody know what you got to do to get in the class.
All right. Now, if someone was interested in learning more about your program or possibly participating, how would they get in touch with you?
They can call the main office number. They can speak to anybody. Anybody should be able to tell them what they want to know, or they can contact me personally. Because I am the outreach specialist, I can answer any questions that they might have. My name is Mark Carjo. Just have them give me a call at my office number, which is 918-549-2632.
Okay, and online again? Today we're here. Okay, we're not doing that one yet. Now, the stuff you're doing is really great in giving these people a second chance, or third or fourth, I don't know, presumably.
Kind of depends.
Yeah, but at least they've got someone they can talk with.
Yeah.
It's not, and like I said, nothing against suit and ties, but I'd much rather talk to somebody in a denim jacket or something relaxed.
Yeah, man. Some people do good, but then there's some people just can't.
Just because there is a limit of a movement and new policies in place doesn't mean that you don't have a chance to succeed there, because all the tools are still available to you there.
Well, actually, and if you think about it, you could use that to your advantage in learning how to deal with new rules and regulations that you may not like, but they're there. And so you do well with them and move on.
Exactly.
Right.
And then once you're there, you get into one of these courses, the 10-week course, and your time's going to fly by there. And then before you know it, you're going to graduate with a piece of paper that's going to assist you moving forward with your life.
Okay. Well, Mark and Jay, thank you so much for coming in. When you get some new stuff to share, give us a call, and we'll see if we can't help you out there. Okay, Mado.
Sounds good.
All right. We're going to take a little pause here, and then we'll be back and find out what it's like to get a COVID shot. So stay with us here on Mvskoke Radio.
Weekend with the Tulsa Oilers at the BOK Center, January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Come cheer on the Oilers as they face off against the Indy Fuel and the Allen American. Puck drops at 7:05 Friday and Saturday night, and 4:05 Sunday afternoon. Buy tickets today by phone or text 918-632-7825 or online at TulsaOilers.com. That's Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center, January 22nd. 23rd, and 24th.
Okay, the Department of Health here at the Mvskoke Creek Nation has initiated its vaccination program for Creek citizens. Many have already taken advantage of it and wanted to get the help, prevention, assistance, whatever you want to call it, but they didn't want to get a disease, a virus. And we wanted to get an inside look at what that was all about. And so I had gotten placed a call, got into the list, and was scheduled in. So I went to visit those folks in Coweta, and here's an idea of what it was like. Today we're here to check out the procedures for the COVID-19 vaccination. We're at the Coweta facility here, and I will actually be getting my shot today. And we'll check with staff to find out what their challenge is and how they're meeting it and serving citizens.
So I'm Sid Daniel. I'm the health administrator here for the Coweta Indian Health Facility. And currently we're working on getting vaccinations for our population group here that's registered and active patients at our facility. Currently we've done about 1,000 vaccines to date since we started at mid-December-ish. And so that's our goal.
All right, now, is your system any different from, like, say, a federal facility? This is a federal facility, but a tribal unit like this, has it any differences at all?
So no differences that I'm aware of. Obviously, they have their rules, and we kind of go by the tribal guidelines. I don't know there specifically if you called up, say, Claremore Indian Hospital, what their guidelines are as far as tiers or phases or where they're at on their vaccinations. But so we use our guidelines from Mvskoke Creek Nation Department of Health leadership.
Okay. And when you're accepting applications for the vaccine, what sort of requirements are involved?
So we're basing our vaccines right now on phases or tiers. And so the initial phase was all of Mvskoke Creek Nation Department of Health healthcare workers. And then after we got that completed successfully, we kind of branched out to those age 65 and older, or underlying healthcare conditions if they were under 65. And then we'll hopefully eventually move out to other tiers such as school teachers and school workers, just general population that don't necessarily fall under that first phase. So currently we are still on that phase 1 kind of B or C tier. We're still trying to get all of our 65 and over elder patients in. We're still trying to reach all of those underlying healthcare condition patients. So that's really what we're focused on. We're actually pretty close to that for just this facility. The other facilities are working their lists as well. And so we're trying to reach out to our patients proactively and say, you fall into this category, are you interested in the vaccine? And if they are, they come in, they get scheduled and get a shot.
When you accept a patient, an applicant for the vaccine, is there anything particular process they have to go through or information supply?
Sure. So currently, if they call us and they say they would like a vaccine, we're putting them on a list. And we are still working on the list that's developed by our information technology group that has filtered those lists of active patients. So we're putting them on those that call in. We're putting them on a list, and then once we get past our first 2 phases, we'll reach out to them and get them vaccinated, depending on whether they qualify for age or underlying healthcare condition or those kinds of things. If we know they're our patient, we look them up if they've called us, and we know they're in one of those categories, we automatically put them into a schedule. If they're a non-registered patient and they've called interested in the vaccine, then at some point in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're hopeful to get to them and get them on board, and they'll register with our registration department, and we'll get them in and get them a vaccine.
Okay, now you mentioned 1,000 doses already. Is it something that's popular, word of mouth kind of thing? What do you hear from people who are coming forward?
Right. So it's been a little bit of a struggle too when we've reached out on our list to get the patients to accept the vaccine. We're running about a 40 or a 50% acceptance rate. And so about 1 out of every 2 calls that we make, they'll want the vaccine. And so but it has helped word of mouth for those that have received the vaccine that they haven't had any issues at all with side effects. So that really has helped us with that cause. We're getting a lot of patients that come in to say, hey, my aunt or my uncle got the vaccine. My grandma, she didn't have any trouble with it. How can I get on the list? So that's really positive, and we're looking forward to branching out once we do get to that next tier to get that done.
Okay, final question here, and before we get to the actual process. What are you hearing, I guess, from citizenship when they're, first of all, curious, perhaps a little doubtful, and wondering how long it will take them? I mean, is the load overbearing or what?
Right. So the 2-part question there. So the first part is we really aggressively tried to get our doctors and our healthcare providers to reach out to their patients, especially those with underlying healthcare conditions or 65 and older, to really promote this vaccine and kind of talk to them and give them some information about what to expect and how to get it and all of those things. We also have developed a vaccine hotline where they can kind of go through the menu. It's a self-serve menu, and it gives them some information as well on the vaccine. So curiosity about side effects and those kinds of things, it's listed on there. So what we're hearing is just a lot of positive results after the vaccine. There was a lot of concern with side effects in the media because it just wasn't known. It's a brand new vaccine. It was done very quickly. People were worried about it. So there wasn't a lot of data out there with that. But all of the vaccinations that we've been able to provide, we've had no severe reactions, a little bit of a sore arm, those kinds of things, a little headache, a little fever maybe. But for the most part, it's been very, very easy to take.
You've got people in rural situations. Are you doing some outreach there? And what kind of vaccine are you using? I know there are two types out there, one requiring special storage in cold. What do we got here?
That's a great question. So we're using both Pfizer and Moderna for the Mvskoke Creek Nation Department of Health. In particular, I don't have the sub-zero extra storage cold freezer unit here, so we've been giving all Moderna at this facility. A couple of our facilities has been able to acquire a sub-zero freezer, and so they are able to collect that Pfizer and store it properly and use that particular vaccine. They're both mRNA technology, and so really one versus the other, it's going to be the same effect. And so it just so happens that we've used Moderna, others have used both Moderna and Pfizer.
Okay, what's the next step now that we made the contact here?
So next step for you is to get you up to registration and get you signed in, and then we'll go through the process of, checking a consent form and checking your medical history, getting you to a screener, getting you vaccinated, watching you for 15 to 20 minutes to make sure you don't have any kind of side effects, and then you'll be done.
You ready to get a vaccination today?
Yeah, let's give it a shot, shall we?
Let's get a shot today. All right. So they explained to you this is your vaccination card, and it's going to be the Moderna vaccine, and that's the lot number. Today's date. You'll return on the 11th at 2 p.m. for your second vaccination shot, okay?
Right.
So which arm would you like to have your vaccination?
Let's go with this.
The left? Okay. And you just relax your arm. Just relax. No, don't stiffen up. Just relax it down. There you go. Just relax.
At this point, do you ever have any problems with people getting a shot? I mean, being scared or?
Well, they're scared,
or
but
more.
just relax, and we just go 1, 2, 3, and then it's pretty well over. 1, 2, 3, it's over. Over. You didn't even have a drop of blood, but we're going to put this bandage on it just in case. There you go. It's all done.
Now, if there are any side effects, what might I look for?
Well, you might have a little bit of shortness of breath, but we really have had very, very few reactions. So you'll sit out here in the observation room for 15 minutes, and if you have anything, there's a doctor out there, and she will help you, okay? So I'm going to write down the time. It's 10:02, and if you can have a seat out there for 15 minutes, then you'll be free to go, okay?
No surprises so far. It's not sore. So does this look normal like it's supposed to?
It looks perfectly normal, and your 15 minutes are up.
All right, great.
Any trouble breathing, itchiness, scratchy throat?
All right, well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. You all were great. Okay, so I got through that without too much trouble. Arm was not sore, no surprises there, so looks like I'm doing pretty good. All right, well, let's see, where are we here? Forgive me there, I got lost. We're going to take another short little pause, and then we're going to take a trip down memory lane to Pickles Pub and Creek Night. So stay with us here on Mvskoke Radio here at 1240 The Brew.
Who am I? Am I native? I don't want people assuming things because I'm Indian. I just want to be me. But how do I live in two worlds? Some guys just check out by doing meth. But that ain't for me. Because I see my family, my friends, my drum making, my future. There are a lot of cool things about being who I am. And meth isn't one of them.
Learn more at ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians. Who am I? Am I Indian? Just 'cause I'm a girl from the res, don't make things up about me. What if I move away? Then who am I? Some kids try meth just to escape, but then I think about my grandma, my little brother, my beadwork, my poetry, and I think, I like who I am, and I know meth is not for me.
Check out ncai.org, a message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
A little while back, I had the opportunity to drop in to see a friend of mine, Jeanette Overall, who has just opened up a new facility, a new pub, a Pickles pub in Tulsa around, gosh, I even forgot the exact area, come to think of it. And I know they've got a new one, place called Elephant Run. But she was talking about a creek night that they had where they had various native musicians and particularly guys you might know. So we want to share that one with you. And as our nation starts off on a fresh new experience today in the nation's capital, we thought this might be nice to check out. So this is Creek Night at Pickles Pub.
Smiling Vic right here at Pickles on Stajati Night, Creek Night right here in Tulsa County, next to Creek County.
That's Mvskoke musician Smiling Vic during one of the bi-monthly Creek Night evenings at Pickles Pub on South Sheridan in Tulsa. The pub is owned and operated by Mvskoke businesswoman Jeanette Overall. This is her night job, with her day spent running her other business, Power Ready, selling backup electrical generators. The Creek Night events are informal sessions, actually, with Creek musicians entertaining at the Creek-owned bar, something that can't be found anywhere else in Tulsa. Owner Jeanette Overall. Is there anything in particular that you have done or you want to see happen that is a native, even Creek flavor to this establishment?
Well, we do have native bands in here. We, of course, have Smiling Vic, and that's what we call our Creek Night. He plays, of course, at any of our tribal functions and the River Spirit, but really the only other place is here at Pickles, and I appreciate that. He is honoring us by being here and letting us have Creek Night, and I think he has a really good time. It's a more intimate setting than at the casino. He can come and visit, and all the cousins can be here, and we can all have a good time, and so that's why we have Creek Night. We also have Barney Ingram and Medicine Pony. They come in and play, and I sincerely go out and really look to find native musicians to play here.
Is there a particular crowd that comes in? I mean, with the Native American angle, yourself and your entertainers being native, does that draw an Indian crowd, an audience?
Certainly. When we have native musicians, of course. That's why we call it Creek Night on Smiling Vic, because everybody that's loyal and haven't enjoyed his music over the years. They want to come and support him. And I posted on Facebook to support one of our own. I want everyone that is from our tribe to be here and support him.
The night's featured entertainment, Smiling Vic, has been known around the music scene in the area for some time. Friends and family usually show up when he plays somewhere, and he says a native crowd always makes him feel at home. That partially makes up, he says, for missing out on some cultural events.
By, relatives, and I've been here for so long, I don't really have to tell them, and I've played in a lot of bands with a lot of musicians, so yeah, I probably, they probably do know that, I would say. Especially the bands I played in, they've all played with me at Stajati events, all kinds of events, the festivals, all kinds of tribes.
Does it mean something special to you when you do an event like the Mvskoke Festival, an Indian event?
That is one of the best things I've ever done, because you get out here playing Friday and Saturday, you miss the things, you miss the ball games, you miss like the summer, you miss the stomp dances, you miss the powwows because they're on Saturday. You play Friday, Saturday, you play or Monday through Saturday.
What about the effort that Jeanette Overall's put into here at Pickles and making a creek night? Is that something special to you?
Oh, man, that's great. That's great. I played in Tulsa all these years, from way back, and that wouldn't be that welcome back then, back in the old days. That was, we'd play and, I just don't want to be, I don't want to sound bad, but that wasn't that welcome a lot of times in those days, and to have a Creek woman own a place and you get to play there, that's like going 360, from where it was or wasn't to where it has become. That's a giant step to me.
Now, when you come to a gig like this Creek night here at Pickles, and you look out, do you see a lot of brown faces there?
Well, I hope I will. I usually do right here. Now, there's a ball tournament in Oklahoma City, so you know how that is. I mean, the truth of the matter is, Smiling Vic or a ball tournament, well, you know who's going to win.
Overall feels the relaxed atmosphere on Creek Night has built a loyal customer base and has developed into an almost kinfolk-type ambience among the guests and the music, a goal she strives for in Pickles Pub. The Creek Night angle just intrigues the heck out of me. Smiling Vic, Barney coming down. Does that draw a particularly native audience? I mean, does it show up out there? I mean, can you tell a lot of brown faces as opposed to no?
Gary, there's not a blue eye in here sometimes. It draws a lot of brown faces, yes. And, we have great food. So, there's one out there right now. She came straight from work. She changed in the bathroom. They're going to have dinner here. And they're waiting for Smiling Vic. And she will, she's here a couple of hours early, and she's ready to go. That's the loyalty to him and to Pickles, too. She watches very carefully what we do here. She comes and she checks, what's going on. But, yeah, that's the fun of having Creek Night, is that you're going to know somebody in there. You might probably be related to them. So you might as well just get down here and join in with us. And you don't have to drink. You can come down and eat. We have the best pizza. And we have hamburgers. We have all sorts of stuff that you could come and just have some dinner and enjoy some music and relax and see a bunch of people that you know.
If you were able to size up an idea of the feeling that people want to leave with, what do you want them to take with them when after they've had a night out here? How do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel happy, relaxed. They've had fun. They enjoyed the experience. The drinks were good. The food was good. They got to talk to Vic. They got to see people, that their friends, and hang out and laugh. And I think that's one of the best things about Pickles. There's always people laughing, and that means, to me, that's good. If I can sit in there and I can hear people laughing and smiling and having a good time and up there dancing away, and they do, from the very second that Vic starts, that dance floor will have people on it, and they stay on there all night long. That makes me happy when I go home. I know everybody else had a good time.
At the end of the night, she hopes simply that everyone leaves with a smile on their face. For Mvskoke Radio, I'm Gary Fife. Okay, that was a fun night. It was good to be in a club here and listening to live music, particularly a Creek musician. That was just incredible. All right, we're going to revisit one of the subjects we have already discussed here on the program. I did, of course, go to Coweta and get my COVID-19 vaccination, and I got a card to go back for the, I guess you'd call it a booster shot. The second one to make sure that your vaccination and immunity is really taking place. So, okay, here's the way the tribe has set things up to serve its citizens. The of course, plan is subject to change based on vaccine allocation. So they're dealing with Tier 1 right now, one of 3 tiers. Phase 1 is the tribal healthcare personnel. I mean, the wonderful folks, the doctors and nurses and technicians, support staff that are all out there making this thing happen. The tribal first responders, that would include, I presume, the ambulance folks, the law enforcement, light horse, and any of those other health professionals who may be involved in responding to a problem. And then included in that first group are the tribal essential workers. Now, these are the folks who are hanging tough in those offices, making sure the process keeps going. We have paperwork, and now it's electronic mostly, but it still has to get done, and so they will be involved in that. And then final group in phase 1 is the MCN child care teachers and staff. We want to make sure that those folks are taken care of, that our little ones are going to be safe, and that they're properly taken care of. Okay, moving along to phase 2, still in Tier 1 now, the tribal long-term care residents. We've got to take care of those folks who may not have the ability to fight off this virus. So take care of them with a vaccination. And then other elder patients, 65 years and older. Now, I guess I qualified for that one, and so I got my vaccine. And they want others who are interested to get in touch with them and come in, because this is a group that probably needs a lot of support. Okay, the final group for Tier 1 are patients with underlying medical conditions with risk factors for severe COVID-19 illness. That's 16 years and older. And we have to remember the severe risk factors can be unfortunately fatal in too many cases, particularly among the elders, our cultural resource and library, living libraries of knowledge. I want to make sure they're taken care of. Okay, moving on to Tier 2, the tribal educational settings and congregate living. Now we're talking about the dorms and situations at the College of the Mvskoke Nation and the Eufaula dorm. So those kids living in those congregate situations will be taken care of. Okay, and then we come to phase 1 of Tier 3. Now this is labeled as tribal citizens. So I'm going to assume that anyone who is interested that did not fit into those other 2 tiers would be eligible for service and assistance in Tier 3. Now that's tribal citizens, no restrictions on age or income or situations like that. So you might want to get in touch with those folks and see about getting on the list. And finally, in Tier 3 is the Phase 2, the general population, native and non-native. So we're going to be talking about anyone who might want to feel better with a vaccine in their arm to prevent this pandemic reaching them. This is where they would fit in Tier 3. Now, the COVID-19 vaccine is not currently recommended for children under 16, so please be aware of that. More research is underway to determine if the COVID-19 vaccine will be safe and effective for infants, children, and teens. So they're looking into that situation, hoping that we can find something that will make sure that that group is taken care of. And finally, the Department of Health medical staff want to remind you they're following FDA and CDC guidance, Federal Drug Administration and Centers for Disease Control guidance. Now, more available information can be found at online at creekhealth.org/COVID. So you might want to check that out and see what's possible. Now, just a week or so ago, we talked to some folks who are mentoring Mvskoke youth, and we want to remind them of the ongoing and support that is available, that young people are an important future resource will be taken care of. Now, for a mentor, you have to be at least 21 years of age, agree to a 9-month commitment to the program, commit to spending a minimum of 1 hour a week with the mentee, complete the screening procedure, which is an interview, a background check, personal references, and a drug screen, and complete the training as required. And finally, you'll be required to communicate regularly with the program coordinator. Now, for those young people who are interested in taking advantage of this resource, the mentees, so to speak, be in grades 6 through 12, be a student at a mentor site, commit to spending a minimum of 2 hours a week in the after-school mentoring program, complete the screening procedure with the interview and the family. So that's extremely important. Complete training as required for youth and family, and communicate regularly with the program coordinator, youth and family. So we hope that many of our listeners and people will be taking advantage of that. Now, for the informational context, it's www.mvskokeyouth.com/Mvskoke mentors. That's www.mvskokeyouth.com, Mvskoke mentors. And you can also check in at Youth Services at Mvskoke at mcn-nsn.gov, the regular tribal addresses. And finally, for those folks like me and others who prefer a voice connection, you can give them a call at 918-549-2557. Chance to share experiences, learn together, and succeed. So we want to encourage folks to take advantage. All right, I'm out of here.